3 until inshallah a few more verses after that inshallah. طيب inshallah. We'll start from verse 22. الذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا والسماء بناء. طيب. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا والسماء بناء وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم فلا تجعلوا لله أندادا وأنتم تعلمون. وإن كنتم في ريب مما نزلنا على عبدنا فأتوا بسورة من مثله وادعوا شهداءكم من دون الله إن كنتم صادقين. فإن لم تفعلوا ولن تفعلوا فاتقوا النار التي وقودها الناس والحجارة أعدت للكافرين. وبشر الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أن لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار كلما رزقوا منها من ثمرة رزقا قالوا هذا الذي رزقنا من قبل وأتوا به متشابها ولهم فيها أزواج مطهرة وهم فيها خالدون إن الله لا يستحيي أن يضرب مثلا ما بعوضة فما فوقها فأما الذين آمنوا فيعلمون أنه الحق من ربهم وأما الذين كفروا فيقولون ماذا أراد الله بهذا مثلا يضل به كثيرا ويهدي به كثيرا وما يضل به إلا الفاسقين الذين ينقضون عهد الله من بعد ميثاقه ويقطعون ما أمر الله به أن يوصل ويفسدون في الأرض أولئك هم الخاسرون. Hasbuk. Inshallah, we'll stop there and we'll go over the verses, inshallah. So starting off with from the verse number 22, الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ. We've already covered this verse before, but we'll just go over it again, inshallah. The first thing that we want to analyze is when we do the lam. Do not make the qalqala on the lam. الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ. You stop on it. So if you go too fast, what happens? You make it into a qalqala sound. الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ No, hold on to it. The second thing is the word arda, okay? We don't say arda, what do we say? الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ. The alif stays how it is, it's the ra that is heavy. Stopping on the word bina, there's a hamza there. When a hamza has two fathas, we pronounce the hamza. So we don't say bina, or what do we say? Bina, okay, and you do a prolongation of 2 seconds. وَأَنزَلَ Ikhfa into the za, okay? Always remember this as general rule. When you are doing ikhfa, you look at the letter that you are doing ikhfa into. If it is a heavy letter, then you make your mouth into an oval shape. And if it is a light letter, what do? You stretch your mouth out. So when you're doing ikhfa into the za, za is a heavy or light letter? Light letter. So how do we say it? وَأَنزَلَ and not وَأَنزَلَ. وَأَنزَلَ. So we prepare ourselves for that letter. Similarly, if you go on مَاءً فَأَخْرَجَ. How are we going to do ikhfa? مَاءً, getting ready for the fa. مَاءً فَأَخْرَجَ. Okay? بِهِ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ رِزْقًا لَكُمْ. Okay? فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا. Fa and la, 2 separate words. فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا, emphasize on the la. فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ. Again, as you can see, all of these letters are light when we're doing ikhfa. أَنْدَادًا فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Next verse, وَإِن كُنْتُمْ. Right? This is where you can test yourself on how to do, stretch your mouth out into an ikhfa. Okay? وَإِن كُنْتُمْ. If you say it like this, وَإِن كُنْتُمْ كُنْتُمْ. Can you hear the difference? There's one way of doing it, is how the general public do it. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ. How should we be doing it? وَإِن كُنْتُمْ. There's difference, isn't it? Right? Why do we do the latter one? Because we're preparing ourselves for the letter. If I say it like this, وَإِن كُنتُ, more likely I'm going to make the ta heavier than it is. But if I say it like this, وَإِن كُنتُ, automatically the ta is going to come out as light. So you have to prepare yourself for the letter before you pronounce the letter. The next thing is نَزَّلْنَا. We've talked about this many times when we did juz amma, right? Lam and noon are two letters that are close in makhraj, okay, in exit point, right? They're both, you use your palate, isn't it? However, they're not from the same place. Lam is just ahead of the noon, right? Lam is just ahead of the noon. Lam, noon. If you try it, lam, noon, you'll see your tongue is moving back. But because they're so close, if you read it fast and you don't move your tongue, what happens? You're reading both from the same makhraj. Watch. وَإِن كُنتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا. You have to move your tongue, okay? Your tongue has to move back to give the noon its due right. طيب, moving on. فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِثْلِهِ. There's a difference between surah and surah. Two are different meanings, okay? Ensure that you're saying the scene properly. فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ, not فَأْتُوا بِصُورَةٍ. Alright? This is why there's an emphasis of how you do your letters. If I just say it like this, فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ, you can't tell sin, sad, in between, Allahu A'lam, right? فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ, بِسُورَةٍ. Now you know it's a scene, right? طيب, moving on. Again, at the end of the verse, إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ, إِن كُنتُمْ, we're using that mouth movement. فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا, the hams and the fa, تَفْعَلُوا وَلَن تَفْعَلُوا فَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. You can't stop there or you can't continue. If you stop there, you have to, two things here. Wal, no qalqal on the lam, not wala hija. Wal, hold on to it. And the second thing is the hams at the end of the word. Wal hijara. You stop like that. U'iddat lil kafirin. Moving on, next verse, all of it's okay. Jannatin tajri min tahtihal anhar. Here, automatically, we've always mentioned this. Sometimes when you're preparing yourself for a heavy letter, what do? You make the letter before heavy. Anhar. Many of us will probably say this, right? Anhar, anha, anhar. Okay, there's a difference. So when you're preparing for the letter, don't make sure that you're giving each letter its due right. كُلَّمَا رُزِقُوا مِنْهَا مِنْ ثَمَرَةٍ. مِنْ ثَمَرَةٍ. Prepare yourself for the letter. مِنْ ثَمَرَةِ الرِّزْقَ. Here many times you will hear people, they will make this word into a heavy word. مِنْ ثَمَرَةِ no. مِنْ ثَمَرَةِ رِزْقًا قَالُوا. This is where you're going to do the opposite of the ikhfa. Because we're doing ikhfa into a heavy letter here. How do you do it? You do it like this. كُلَّمَا رُزِقُوا مِنْهَا مِنْ ثَمَرَةِ رِزْقًا قَالُوا. Alright? Why do we make our mouth into an oval shape? Because qaf is a heavy letter. قَالُوا هَذَا الَّذِي رُزِقْنَا. Again, same thing. مِن قَبْلِ, not مَن قَبْلِ. Yeah, right? Sometimes we over-exaggerate in doing it. So it'll be like مِن قَبْلِ. No. Mi stays how it is. مِن قَبْلِ. مِن قَبْلِ. It's an art, by the way. You're not going to get it overnight, right? You have to keep on practicing, right? You have to keep on practicing. Look at the mouth movements. Listen to the reciters that have the clear ikhfa. Some reciters are doing it, but you can't hear it, right? Some, they have clear voice. Sheikh Muhammad Ayyub, rahimahullah. May Allah ta'ala have mercy on him. Sheikh Hudayfi, hafidhahullah, right? These are, giants in recitation, right? When you hear it, even if you were to close your eyes, you'll know that, he's doing ikhfa in a certain way, right? You'll hear it. So the next time, inshallah, after the lesson, when you go home, listen and you'll be like, okay, I see it now, right? Okay? So, مِن قَبْلُ وَأُتُوا بِهِ مُتَشَابِهًا وَلَهُمْ. Separate the words, we've mentioned this many times, okay? وَلَهُمْ فِيهَا أَزْوَاجٌ مُطَهَّرَةٌ. The ha at the end. مُطَهَّرَةٌ. وهم فيها خالدون إن الله لا يستحيي أن يضرب. Okay, we've talked about the Daad before. Is it a qalqala letter? It's not a qalqala letter, right? Okay. At the same time, it's not a letter of shadda. However, Daad is from the most difficult of letters, isn't it? Right? Because Daad is one of those letters that there has to be some balance in the way you pronounce it. So we've talked about the sifat of Daad, how it's pronounced. Can anyone summarize for me? That's from the first lesson, right? Okay, don't worry, inshallah. We'll repeat it again. Daad, there's 3 ways of pronouncing the Daad. There's what? 3 ways of pronouncing the Daad. Everyone's thinking probably it's a simple letter, right? Three ways. Either you can take it to the right side, or the left side, or from the middle. Which is the most correct? From the right side is the most correct. Which one's the easiest? A difference here, mashallah. Generally speaking, it's the middle. You just bring it in, yadriba. You don't have to move your tongue left and right, okay? But the more correct opinion is that you should be taking your tongue to the right, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is, you make a sort of a bubble when you are doing it, right? Watch. إن الله لا يستحيي أن يضرب. Okay, this is how you do it. Who's heard ضالين? Yeah, I can hear the Bengali uncles laughing because we know it's a traditional thing, right? I've mentioned this before and I will mention this again, right? For us, we think it's a traditional thing, but there is evidences for it. You're probably gobsmacked now, isn't it? All right. Some of the scholars held an opinion that the Daad is between a Daad and a Dha. They held the opinion that what? Daad, that the letter Daad is between a Daad and a Dha. Right? And as you can see, where does this opinion from the Bengali tradition come from? It's based on this, right? One of the famous Qur'an of the 10 reciters, Ibn Kathir, not the Mufassir, okay, the reciter, he held that opinion, right? But the issue is, majority of the people that try to do it, what do they end up doing? They say a Dha, right? And if you end up saying a different letter, what's happened? Lahanjali, you made a major mistake. So this is why majority of the scholars say that it's better to leave, right? Only certain specialists can do it like that. So we will stick to the what? The way that it's done, Daad, clear, where your tongue is touching the palate, okay? أن يضرب مثلا, okay? مثلا ما بعوضة فما فوقها. طيب, next verse. فأما الذين آمنوا, that's all good. فيعلمون أنه. This is, you're going to get repetitive all the time. When you have a lam with the sakin, don't bounce it. أنه الحق. Don't say أنه لا. أنه لا. If you let go of your tongue too fast, خلاص, you've fallen into the qalqala. وأما الذين كفروا فيقولون ماذا, not أراد الله, as we'll all say. So all of these mistakes that I always point out, you'll find that there are certain things that trigger this, isn't it? That if you think of it as like an overall picture, okay, rather than look into every single verse, get the concepts right and everything else apply it. So what do I mean by that? For example, we talked about preparing yourself for a letter, but don't let go of the right of the letter. Okay, I've given this as a general example. Now I'll give you 2 words. We talked about the word arda, and now we're talking about the word arada, right? So we're preparing for the letter, yes, but we don't forget the rights of the letter. The word arda. Here, how many heavy letters do you have? 2. What are the 2 letters? Ra and Daad. Alif, Hamza, is it a heavy letter? It's a light letter. Okay. Apply the principle now. Give every letter as due right, okay? But don't forget its sifat. Arda and not arda. What's happening is when we start to prepare ourselves, we forget about the sifat of the huruf, and then we start to say, الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ أَنْهَا. Instead of saying anha, what do we say? Anhar. مَاذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ Allahu Samad. Apply this principle everywhere. You'll see that, okay, let me take back a step. A is how it is. Ra is what's changing. مَاذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ. Ra, why is it heavy here? It's got a fatha on it. So the Ra is what's becoming heavy, not the hamza. Apply this everywhere, khalas. And take these principles and apply it everywhere. You'll see your recitation will automatically become better, inshallah. طيب, moving on. يضل به. يضل به. Daad is a heavy letter. However, when it has a kasra, it's the least amount. Do we say it's a light letter? We don't say it's a light letter. يضل. And not, if we said if it's a light letter, then it would be يضل. Right? يضل به كثيرا ويهدي به كثيرا وما يضل به إلا again no قلقلة إلا الفاسقين الذين ينقضون, practicing the إخفاء again, ينقضون. Where's the mistake? Apply the concept that I mentioned. Good, you get in there. Aywa, khalas, that's it. If you're trying to do it, what's automatically the first thing you're going to be like, you're preparing for the qaf, so الَّذِينَ يَنْقُضُونَ, right? Automatically it would come. And you will see, these mistakes are common, by the way. But is it يَنْقُضُونَ? Aywa. الَّذِينَ يَنْقُضُونَ. يَنْقُضُونَ. Listen to Husari, how he does it. Amazing, right? On point. الَّذِينَ يَنْقُضُونَ. He won't say يَنْقُضُونَ, right? This is where the common mistake is. عهد الله من بعد ميثاقه, and not ميثاقه. There's no such thing as the A sound. A, I, U. Again, another principle that we've talked about many times. Okay? ويقطعون ما, apply it now. أمر الله, not أمر الله. Right? Again, you'll be preparing for the letter. ويفسدون في let's hear it now. في الأرض, and not في الأرض. في الأرض أولئك هم الخاسرون, not خاسرون, because we mentioned in a different recitation in Warsh, what is it? خاسرون. It's a light letter. خاسرون and not ru. There's a difference. Did we stop there? Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, I was going to continue. طيب, so we go up to verse 27. Khalas, let's listen to some brothers reciting, inshallah. Who wants to recite verse 22? طيب, Bismillah. So you can stop بناء, then continue وأنزل. So now you don't have to go back, you can say وأنزل من السماء. فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم أيوة فلا تجعلوا لله أندادا وأنتم تعلمون. حسبك, ما شاء الله, very good. Next verse. Bismillah. Try to stretch it back. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ. And you know the noon sound, hide it in this sound of, you know how to say ing, right? Like eating, playing, make that sound. So don't pronounce the actual noon. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ. Try it. Now, so what you're doing is you're saying kun, right? Like K-U-N. Try K-U-N-G. K-U-N-G. Yeah, kung. There is, you can hear the ikhwa now? Yeah? See, it's a simple, you know, these rules, if we bring it in from an English perspective, it just makes it a lot easier for those that are learning, okay? So instead of saying kun, what do you say? Kung. Like that. And now you want to smile. Try it now, actually. Nazzal, see, same thing. Lam and noon, very close. Nazzalna. Try that. Nazzalna. Aywa, ahsant. Mimma nazzalna ala abdina fa'tu bi suratin min mithlihi wad'u shuhada'akum min dunillahi in kuntum. Try it again. In kuntum صادقين. Smile now. دقين. أحسنت. اللهم بارك. ما شاء الله تبارك. Very good. طيب next. بسم الله. فإن لم يكن غنى فإن لم تفعلوا نار التي فاتقون النار التي والحجارة. حسبك ما شاء الله. حسبك ما شاء الله. Very good. بسم الله. وعملوا وعملوا أو سه ديك سه جزاك الله خير. رزقوا ثمرات رزقنا وأتوا
ولهم فيها
مطهرة مطهرة
وهم فيها خالدون.
جزاك الله خير. بسم الله. Try to make your قاف a bit heavier. أنه الحق. نعم. Excellent. Very good. ويهدي. Settle it. أحسنت. Very good. ما شاء الله تبارك الله. Next verse. One more verse left. طيب. ميثاقي then ويقطعون. Okay. بسم الله. ميثاقه. حسبك. إن شاء الله. بسم الله. يوصل. حسبك ما شاء الله تبارك الله. Very good. اللهم بارك. We will stop here inshallah for today's session. I will be traveling next week. I won't be in the country, so I'll be back in a few weeks inshallah. So once we're back, we can hopefully get a few more sessions before Ramadan, and hopefully everyone can have some motivation for the month of Ramadan bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Inshallah. And the beginning of March, like I mentioned in the last session, that we are planning for that workshop, the Tajweed workshop, one-day workshop. So do keep your eye out for that inshallah, that you can benefit from that inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, yeah. If you go on the ELM YouTube channel. ELM YouTube लगता है ये. Okay.